This was homework number 2 assignment. These are segments review questions. So review questions for segment addition, congruent segments, midpoints, midpoint distance, and then the other endpoint. So the first question here says, if u is between t and b, we need to find the value of x and the lengths of the segments. So it tells us to draw a picture with the given information, then write the equation and solve. So that's exactly what we have to do. U is between t and b. So here's t, here's b, and u is here between them. Tu is 2x, ub is 3x plus 1, and then tb is 21. So our equation is going to be tu plus ub equals tb. So we have 2x plus 3x plus 1 equals 21. Combine like terms, we get 5x plus 1 equals 21. Okay, subtract 1 from both sides. We're going to get 5x equals 20. Divide by 5, and we get x equals 4. Now it wants us to find tu. So we know that tu equals 2x. So that's going to be, replace it, 2 times 4 is 8. Then it wants us to find ub. So ub is going to be 3x plus 1. So that's going to be 3 times 4 plus 1, which is going to be 13. Okay, to check our answer, we better know that 8 plus 31 should equal 21. 8 plus 13 equals 21, so we're good. Okay, the next one. Okay, I'm going to draw this one over here. So again, u is between, so we're doing this one. Here. So u is between, I'm sorry, u is between t and d. Tu is 4x minus 1. ub is 2x minus 1. And then tb is 5x. So tu plus ub is going to equal tb, right? Part plus part equals the whole. Tu is 4x minus 1. ub is 2x minus 1. And tb is 5x. Combine like terms, that's 6x minus 2. Okay. I like to keep my x's positive, so I would do minus 5x. That means x minus 2 equals 0, and then I would add 2 to both sides, so x equals 2. Then we want to find all the pieces, so tu is going to be 4 times 2 minus 1, right? We substitute in we substitute in x. And that's going to be 7. Okay, 2 times 2 minus 1, that's going to be 4, that's going to be 3. So tu is 7, ub is 3. tb better be 10. Let's see. 5 times 2 is 10. Right? And then we can also substitute it in up here. 5 times 2 equals 10. So those are the segment addition problems. Okay, let's go down to the one where we have congruent segments. So let's scroll down. Okay, suppose segment RS is congruent to segment MN. Okay, for each set of segments, solve for x and find the length. So we know that RS is congruent to MN. Okay, so we know RS is congruent to MN. So we know that RS equals MN, right? The segments are congruent, therefore their lengths are equal. We know RS, the distance between R and S, is 3x plus 17. And we know MN is 7x minus 15. Subtract 3x. We get 17 equals 4x minus 15. We can add 15 to both sides. We're going to get 32 equals 4x, and then we can divide by 4, and we get 8 equals x. We can substitute in, so 3 times 8 plus 17. That's 24 plus 17 is 41. Okay, and then 7 times 8 minus 15, that's going to be 56 minus 15, that's also 41. So we know we're right because it should be 41 and 41. Okay, the next one, same thing. It's telling us that segment RS is congruent to segment MN, so RS equals MN. So we know that x plus 10 is going to equal 2x plus 4. Okay, subtract x. 10 equals x plus 4. We subtract 4 on both sides, we get 6 equals x. Okay. 6 plus 10 is 16. 2 times 6 plus 4 better also be 16, and it is. Okay, so again, we know we're right. Okay, so if you look at number 1, we're just doing segment addition. The first segment plus the second segment equals the whole thing. Here we're saying we have congruent segments, so we can set them equal to each other. If they don't say they're congruent, if they don't say there's a midpoint or a bisector, or they don't have that hash mark on the diagram, then they're not congruent. You can't set them equal to each other. Okay, here are the level 4 questions for segments. So we have 2 examples here. So we have to find UT first. So let's just look at this part of the problem. So we know VU is X. So we know that VU plus UT is going to equal VT. Okay, VU plus UT is going to equal VT. So let's look at this part of the problem. So this piece plus this piece equals this piece. Okay, we know VU is X. We don't know UT. And we know VT is 4x minus plus 2. So all we do is subtract x from both sides. And we get UT equals 3x plus 2. All we're doing is 4x plus 2 minus x gives us this piece. Okay, that's all we're doing here. 4x plus 2 minus x is 3x plus 2. X plus 3x plus 2 should be 4x plus 2. This piece plus this piece equals this piece. Right? VU plus UT equals VT. Right, now let's look at a different section. Okay, let's look at this half. Here we have WV plus VU equals WU. This piece plus this piece equals this piece. We don't have WV. We know VU is X. And we know WU is 3x minus 1. We subtract x. We get WV equals 2x minus 1. So this piece is 2x minus 1. 3x minus 1 minus x gives us 2x minus 1. 2x minus 1 plus x gives us 3x minus 1. These 2 segments add up together to the whole thing. The part plus part equals whole. Part plus part equals whole for the first one. Now we have the 3 pieces, and we know what the whole thing is. We know the whole thing is 61. So we can do our last piece here, which is going to be WV plus VU plus UT equals WT. So 2x minus 1 plus x plus 3x plus 2 is going to equal WT. Okay, we know WT is 61. By like terms, that's going to be 6x plus 1 equals 61. We subtract 1 from both sides. 6x equals 60. divide by 6, we get x equals 10. Our goal is to find VU, so we have to substitute it in. Luckily, it's already there for us, so VU equals 10. If we want to check our answer, we could substitute in the other ones. That's 20, this would be 19. 3 times 10 is 30, that's 32. 32 plus 10 is 42, 42 plus 19 is 61. All right, so let's look at number 4 here. Okay. Again, let's look at this piece first. So it's telling us one thing we want to note, AD is 44. So AD, the whole thing is 44. Okay, but this piece, so we have X, right? This piece is X. Oops. So we need to find this piece, right? So this piece plus this piece is this piece. So AB plus BC equals AC. AB plus BC equals AC. B is between A and C. So we don't know AB. We know BC is X, and we know AC is 2X plus 3. And we can subtract X from both sides. So AB is going to be X plus 3. Okay. 2X plus 3 minus X gives us X plus 3. We can do X plus 3 plus 5X minus 1 equals 44, or we can find CD first. Let's just find CD first. Okay, so now we want to look at this half. Okay. Let me get this out of the way. So here we know BC plus CD. BC plus CD is going to equal, let's do it up more. BC plus CD is going to equal BD, right? Part plus part equals whole, right? Part plus part equals whole. This is X. We don't know this one, so X plus CD. And then we know BD is 5X minus 1. Subtract X from both sides. So we have CD equals 4X minus 1. So this piece is going to be 4X minus 1. Okay. And again, the whole thing was 44. Okay. So we have the 3 pieces. Okay. AB is X plus 3. 2X plus 3 minus X was X plus 3. BC is X. CD was 5X minus 1 minus X was 4X minus 1. We can now set up our equation. So AB plus BC plus CD, the 3 parts are going to equal the whole thing, AD. Okay. So that's going to be X plus 3 plus X plus 4X minus 1 equals 44. Combine like terms, that's going to be 6X plus 2 equals 44. We subtract 2 from both sides, 6X equals 42. Divide both sides by 6, and we get X equals 7. We want to find AB. So that's going to be X plus 3. So that's going to be 7 plus 3, which is going to be 10. Okay, and then we also want CD, which is 4X minus 1. So CD is going to be 4 times 10 minus 1, which is going to be 39. Okay, we can find the middle one too. That's just 7. So this is 7, 10, and 39. Those should add up to 44. They don't, so we screwed up somewhere. Oh, 42 divided by 6, 7, 10, 7. Oh, it's 7. I'm sorry. It's not 4 times. Nope. Yep. It's 4 times 7. I don't know why I put 10. Minus 1. That's 27. Sorry. That's why you check your answer. Okay. That makes sense because 17 plus 27 is 44. There we go. Okay, the other thing you could have done is x plus 3 plus 5x minus 1 equals 44, or 2x plus 3 plus 4x minus 1 equals 44. Those equations would have worked as well. Right? AB plus BD is going to be AD, and AC plus CD is going to be AD as well. All right, let's go on to, so that's all the segment addition stuff and segment bisectors, midpoints, and all that. So the next topic is distance formula, midpoint formula, and other endpoint. So we need to be able to use the distance formula. So for A here, our distance formula is the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Okay, our two x values are 7 and 0. So we have 7 minus 0 squared plus the two y values are 6 and 2, 6 minus 2 squared. From here, you can just put it in your calculator, or we could keep it as a radical. It says round in there is 10th. Again, I don't care if you round it or if you leave it as a radical. So our distance here is going to be 7 squared plus 4 squared. So that's going to be 49 plus 16, which is going to be 55, 65, square root of 65, which should be about 8.1 or 8.0. B, same thing, we want to use the distance formula here. So distance is going to be the square root of x2 minus x1, right? The change in x squared plus the change in y squared, so y2 minus y1 squared. The two x values are 4 and negative 6. So 4 minus negative 6 squared plus 2 minus negative 6 squared. So that's going to give us 10 squared plus 8 squared. So that's 100 plus 64, that's 164. Square root of 164. That's probably divisible by 4. It's definitely divisible by 4. So we can reduce. We can make it as. We can leave it like that. We can make it a decimal, or we can reduce our radical here. Simplify our radical. So let's see. 164 divided by 16. Nope. 164 divided by 4. So it's going to end up being 241. So 4 and 41. So that's going to be 2 root 41. All right, 6 asks for the midpoint. So 6 is asking for the midpoint. So we need to find, there's 2 coordinates here, 2 points with 2 coordinates in each point. So we need to find the average, so the midpoint of the x values, and the average or the midpoint of the y values. So our 2 equations here are xm equals x1 plus x2 over 2. Ym equals y1 plus y2 over 2. So xm, or x value of our midpoint, is going to be negative 4 plus 3 over 2, which is negative 1/2. Our ym here, it's going to be the average of the two y values, so negative 2 plus 3 divided by 2, which is going to be positive 1/2. So our midpoint m is going to be negative 1/2, 1/2. Well, negative 1/2 is halfway between negative 4 and 3. Positive 1/2 is halfway between negative 2 and positive 3. Okay, so over here, same thing. Again, we can just look at it. It's going to be negative 2 -2 because -2 is between -1 and -3, and -2 is right in the middle of 0 and -4, but let's write it out just to be sure. Xm x1 plus x2 over 2, and ym equals y1 plus y2 over 2, just average. You have 2 points, so you add them up, divide by however many points there are, which is 2, and so you divide by 2. Add them up, divide by 2. So our x value of our midpoint is going to be equal to -1 plus -3 over 2. That's -4 divided by 2, which is going to be -2. Ym, the two 0 and -4 are the two y coordinates here, 0 plus -4. So that's going to be, again, -4 over 2, which is -2. So our midpoint here is -2, -2. That's the coordinate of our midpoint. 7, they're giving us an endpoint and a midpoint. We want to find the other endpoint. What time at 21 minutes? Okay, find the other endpoint of the line segment with the given endpoint and midpoint. So we have an endpoint and midpoint. We want to find the other endpoint. So the way we're going to, let's write it out here. So this is an endpoint. We'll call this one x1, x2. I'm sorry, x1, y1. We'll call this one xm, ym, because it's the midpoint. And then we need to find x2, y2. Okay, so x1, y1 is this one. And this is this one. And then we need to find that one. So let's use our equation. If we can't do it visually, we can do it visually. So there's a gap of 5 here. So -5 minus 5 to -10. So we need to go 5 more. That's -15. 4 to -6, that's 10 to the left on a number line. So we have to go 10 more, that's -16. So our answer should be -15, -16. We can do that by just looking at it, investigate. Or if we have to use the equation, that's fine. So here's our two equations. Xm equals x1 plus x2 divided by 2, average. Ym equals y1 plus y2 divided by 2. That again is the average of the y coordinates. So we already know our average of the x coordinates and y coordinates because we have the midpoint. So the x value of our midpoint is -10. The y value of our midpoint is -6. Okay, then we have the one endpoint, -5, 4. So -5 is the x value. We don't know the other x coordinate. Right, we don't know that one. Okay, and our y coordinate is 4, and we don't know y2. And then we just solve for x2 and y2. So multiply both sides by 2. So that's -20 equals -5 plus x2. Add 5 to both sides, and just like we said, it's -15. Both sides by 2. It's -12 equals 4 plus y2. Subtract 4, and just like we said, that's -16. So our other endpoint, is going to be -15, -16. Okay, and -10, -6 is right between -5, -5, 4, and -15, -16. Right. Let's do the last one. Then I have to go make copies. I still won't be able to go home yet, but that's okay. So this is x1, y1. And this is xm, ym. Okay, and what we're trying to find is x2, y2, the other endpoint. Okay, that's what we're trying to find. Again, we can just look. This is 13 to the right. -8 to 5 is 13. Go 13 more, that's going to be 18. Right? 8 to -3, that's 11 to the left. Go 11 more to the left, that's going to be -14. So that should be our answer right there. Check, we're done. Okay, but let's use the equations and make sure we get that. So xm equals the average of the two endpoints. So x1 plus x2 divided by 2. ym is going to be the average of the two y endpoint coordinates of the endpoints. So y1 plus y2 over 2. We know that that's 5. And we know that that's 3 because those are the midpoints, the coordinates of the midpoint. So we have 5 equals, and we have -3 equals. Here's the endpoint we have. So this is x1, and that's y1. So we have -8, and we don't know x2 and y2. So plus x2 divided by 2, 8 plus y2 divided by 2. Okay, we got to multiply both sides by 2. To get 2 out of the denominator, we've got to do the inverse operation. That's going to be 10 equals -8 plus x2. We add 8 to both sides, so we get 18 equals x2, just like we said. Over here, we multiply both sides by 2. So we get -6 equals 8 plus y2. We subtract 8. We get -14 equals y2. Again, just like we said. So our endpoint is going to be 18, -14. And it's that straightforward. So nothing too complicated, nothing too crazy. Those are the segment topic and the midpoint distance formula topic review questions. Okay, and that's due Friday, September 20th. But again, we're having a quiz on Wednesday, September 18th. So bring questions if you don't understand something.